Greetings. So I just finished my orientation with Schneider, um, and now I'm in Texas waiting for my TE, my training engineer, who I'm going to drive on the road with for 5 days or so before I start my own route. So I want to share a little bit about my experience at orientation with Schneider. So if you're going to be going and doing that, you kind of know what to expect. Or if you just want to be nosy, watch this too. So they flew us out to Indianapolis, is where I did my training. There's also Green Bay, Wisconsin, where you can do your orientation there. I don't know if there's other places, but those were the two that they mentioned to me, and I ended up in Indianapolis, and it was good. It was a really good experience. They pay for your flight or your gas or your rent a car or whatever you take. They pay for it there. You get to the hotel, usually Uber or Z Trip, and they pay for that, and you get to the hotel, check in. Hotel is really nice. Nothing fancy. The pool is fine. The weight room is fine. The breakfast is C minus, but the beds are really comfortable. Those are like B plus and A. Housekeeping is fantastic. It's perfectly clean every single day, and fresh sheets every day. It's really good. Housekeeping is top notch. So starting out going to orientation, the shuttle picks you up at 5:45, and then you get to the orientation and you sit around for about an hour. Why they pick you up so early and why they have you sit around for an hour, I don't really know, but that's kind of what happened the whole week, and just I accepted it and we all just dealt with it. So 7 a.m. rolls around and you start going to the classroom, and it was really fun the first day, and really good instructor, very personable, very energetic. And he said, "Welcome to the first day. This is going to be really, really boring." And he was right. It was super boring, but it was first day of a job, filling out paperwork, getting introduced to the tablet and the computer-based learnings. Um, Nothing exciting, nothing wild to report on that. So you did that for roughly 2 days, and then they start letting you get into the yard where you get some demonstrations on how to couple a truck to a trailer, how to uncouple the trailer from the truck, and that's where it gets really fun. You start doing that, then you get shown it, then you start doing it yourself. Then they take you out on the road, and you learn a ton. They tell you the Schneider way of doing things, and truly, so far, I really like it. Some of the techniques they use, some of the methods they use are things I didn't learn in CDL school, even though I went to a really good CDL school. Some of these, like the 45-degree backings and stuff, just the way they teach you to do it, I was like, oh, it clicks. That's really, really good. Schneider's, I don't know what to call it, philosophy, but one of their thoughts is there's a lot of CDL schools out there who teach you to get your CDL. They don't teach you how to drive. Like I said, my CDL school is really good. I learned to drive, and I also obviously got my CDL. So that's just Schneider's point of view, and really looking at some of the other students there who were learning beside me, it was true. There was a couple, not a lot, but there was a couple who really didn't know how to drive, and Schneider taught them. One of them just simply didn't work out and they had to leave, but the others, they did great. We started with a class of 11, I believe. We were scheduled to have 20, but about 9 people didn't show up. So we ended up with 11, started with 11, got down to 10, but it was a great experience. So they feed you breakfast at the hotel, and then Schneider feeds you lunch for free at the cafeteria. You can buy extra food if you want, but the food is substantial. They have something on the line. They have 3 different options on the line, and then they have hamburgers, patty melts, chicken sandwiches that you can always order for free, and you get a drink. And so it's a good lunch. Supper's on your own. It was a little rough because I didn't have a car since I flew out there, so there was a lot of Uber Eats, or I Ubered to, or so I Grubhubbed, and then I Ubered to Walmart to buy, ramen noodles and microwavable foods to eat in the hotel for supper. So just be prepared for that. Second week, you're still driving on the road. your trainer is giving you less advice, less instruction, just telling you, all right, turn left here, turn right there, go straight to the street, turn left, turn right. Um, and then you're waiting for your road test. So this was the part that I just thought was hilarious. So I'm over here, it's probably Wednesday, and I'm just like, when are they going to get my road test? We're kind of getting to the end here. And so we get to the last hour of Wednesday, and my instructor comes up to me and gives me this card. I was like, oh, what's this? He's like, oh yeah, you passed your road test the other day. Like, I didn't take a road test. He's like, oh no, I did. So I took you out, and then I didn't give you any instruction. I just told you where to go, and you did it, and you passed, and it was great. Like, oh. He's like, yeah, I didn't tell you that because I didn't want you to be nervous. Fair enough. My instructor, my trainer, he was a great guy. Quick-witted. He's been doing this for a long time, and was very polite and mild-mannered and calm, which was a nice surprise. A couple of the other students had trainers who were a little bit more loud, boisterous, very not aggressive, but so. But they liked him. They said, "Yeah, my trainer is great. He's that kind of typical trucker gruff, but he knows what he's doing." And there was a couple that had this trucker who was a lady, and she did well, and they all loved her. So every trucker at the every trainer at the Indianapolis orientation facility did a really great job, and nobody had any complaints about them. So that was pretty cool. So Monday through Friday, you're there week 1. Monday through Friday, you're there week 2. So let's talk a little bit about pros and cons really quick. Pros, great training. Free food Monday through Friday, breakfast and lunch. Travel's free. You're not paying for anything there. Those cons, supper's on your own, and getting to food is a little bit of a challenge. It's going to cost you a little bit. If you get to Walmart, you can get some food and just make it yourself. But ordering food every night takes it costs some money. That's really the main con that I have of the whole thing. Maybe having to be there for an hour every morning doing nothing. That was kind of strange, but it was fine. I didn't care. What else was I going to do? One thing that was a little bit strange is on the second Friday you're there, so right when you're about to be done, that's when they tell you about your training engineer, your TE, where you're going to go, and how that's all going to work out. I'm someone who likes to plan things. I like to, not even that I needed to, but I like to know. It's like, hey, come on, give me this information so I don't have to think about it, and I can start planning and get myself mentally ready. So Friday I find out I'm going to Texas. I was a little disappointed, not with Texas, but I was kind of hoping over that weekend I was going to get to go home, see the wife and kids, and then head to my TE. And if that would have been closer to my home, it would have worked out. But since I'm on a certain route, they wanted someone that's also serving the same customer to be my trainer. So that's why I'm in Texas, which it made sense. Nothing bad about what they did. I was just disappointed. Totally fair though. But I stayed in the hotel for the rest of the weekend, and then Sunday they flew me out to Texas. Some people on Friday, they're like, hey, you're going to be going to your TE right where you live. So they got to fly home, drive home, take a bus, whatever, that Friday. So not knowing until the Friday, I thought was a little bit weird. I mentioned it to them, and they explained it. They're like, hey, yeah, your first week we're working on the last class's TEs, and then the second week you're here, we're starting to get into contact with them all. And the truth is, we don't want to get your TE all get signed up and ready to go, and then you don't work out. You don't pass your road test, you end up leaving. So we like to wait to get all our ducks in a row, because it is a cost to them flying you out to where you're going. It is a cost. One thing I forgot to mention, it didn't matter to me, but it mattered to somebody, that they take a drug test when you're there. You pee in a cup and they take some of your hair. You can take your hair from your head, your beard, your arm, I guess. If you're kind of like me, but and then they test it, and if you fail the drug test, they send you home, and you're not allowed to be there anymore. And well, it makes it hard to get a trucking job in the future because it goes to the clearinghouse, and it's a whole thing. So if you're doing any kind of drugs and you're going to be scheduled to go orient with Schneider, maybe postpone it. Maybe tell them, hey, I'm not ready yet, and put it down the road a little bit because your system needs to be cleaned out. Well, I'm going to go out with my TE this week. I'm in Texas now, ready to go. I will post a video about how all that goes, and thank you for watching the video. Have a good one, everybody.